It is 2 a.m. Your eyes are closed, but your mind is running at full capacity. You are replaying a mistake from 3 years ago, or spiraling over a meeting you have tomorrow morning. This visualization maps out the sheer volume of daily human cognition. On an average day, your brain processes up to 70,000 thoughts. Out of that cluster, roughly 80% skew negative, and 95% are exact replicas of thoughts you had yesterday. You might feel like this relentless mental loop is a personal failing, but you are experiencing a biological system functioning exactly as it was designed. It's just operating in the wrong era. To break out of this cycle, we have to look under the hood and dissect the actual neurological wiring that keeps it running. This schematic illustrates the default mode network, or DMN. When you are sitting idly, this interconnected web of brain regions automatically lights up, generating simulations of the past and projections of the future. Researchers at Harvard tracked thousands of people throughout their day and found that our minds wander exactly like this about 47. For many, this alarm system was dialed up early in life. Attachment theory shows that unpredictable or highly critical childhood environments train the brain into a state of conditioned hypervigilance, a constant, exhausting alertness used as a survival tool. This diagram shows the resulting chemical spiral. When your brain perceives a modern psychological threat, it floods the bloodstream with stress hormones like cortisol. Your heart rate spikes, your muscles tense, and those chemicals loop back up to trigger an entirely new wave of anxious thoughts. Psychologists call this endless chewing on a single thought rumination. As cortisol levels remain high, the signal strength to the prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for rational, clear decision-making, begins to degrade. Overthinking is a biological trap. The more you use cognitive energy to solve an anxiety-driven problem, the less capable the brain becomes of reaching a rational solution. Telling yourself to just stop stressing cannot halt a chemical reaction. Breaking the loop requires specific actions that physically override the survival response and force the rational brain back online. Sensory grounding reclaims cognitive resources by overloading the system with external data. By identifying 5 things you can see, 4 you can touch, and 3 you can hear, you force the prefrontal cortex to process immediate sensory inputs, which starves the amygdala's panic response of attention. The body also needs a physical outlet to burn off accumulated stress hormones. A brisk 20-minute walk or dumping racing thoughts onto paper physically clears the cortisol and signals to the nervous system that the threat has been handled. Once the biology is stabilized, you need a mental filter. 2 millennia ago, the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius used a framework that remains the standard for managing an overactive mind. This graphic breaks down the circle of control. Every anxiety is strictly sorted into 2 deficits: the actions and efforts you can dictate right now, and the external opinions, past events, and future outcomes that must be surrendered. Breaking the circuit requires accepting reality as it is, rather than exhausting your mental resources trying to control what cannot be changed. The goal is not to stop thinking entirely. Many of history's most profound innovators were chronic overthinkers. Figures like Steve Jobs leveraged their hyperactive minds to build entire industries and solve problems that others found insurmountable. Reactive overthinking is a chaotic, anxiety-driven spin with no destination. Intentional deep thinking takes that same cognitive energy and points it at a solvable problem. Transition by pinning the thought down. Write the anxiety, assign a physical action, and set a strict deadline. That constant mental motion represents a massive reserve of processing power. When given a specific direction and a concrete schedule, an overactive brain stops producing anxiety and starts producing solutions.